Hiya, moms and dads. Adventures in Collecting is about toys, but it might not be for your children, especially if you don't like words like or or asshole.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Erik.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
along with our journeys as collectors. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting. We are back.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, no hi this week?
Yeah, I wanted to mix it up.
Man, you're just throwing curves out there. Straight up throwing curves. Well, welcome back to Adventures in Collecting. It has been, well, first of all, don't get used to 3 weeks in a row of episodes.
Yeah.
But while we're talking about the last 3 weeks, once again, a big thank you to Justin and Bluefin and Lenny and Hasbro for joining us on the podcast. It was insanely awesome to have them on 2 weeks in a row. I hope you guys enjoyed the interviews. I can assure you that we had as much fun doing them as it sounded.
Yeah, I listened to the episode with Lenny. It was really good.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those honestly, sitting across from the table from Todd McFarlane and being able to connect directly with somebody from Hasbro on lines that are as iconic as G.I. Joe and Transformers, like real pinch me moments. So, I hope everyone else enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed having that conversation with him. That being said, we're back for a normal, regular, plain old average episode, Dave.
Yeah,
We're going
no leads to bury this week.
No, kicking it old school.
On today's episode,
We will be talking toy news and hauls. There has been a lot going on. Dave and I have both picked up a considerable amount of stuff since the last time we chatted about it. And then for our main topic, this year, so 2020, is the 35th anniversary of Super Mario.
It's me, Mario!
And we are going to talk about everyone's favorite fictional plumber today, because video games are absolutely toys, and it's not a topic that we tend to cover very frequently. But he has had a lot of toys over the years. There are a lot of fun new toys that are out now, and Mario is as popular as he has ever been. So when we get there, we are going to talk about Mario. And the first question, Dave, do you say Mario or Mario?
Mario.
Yeah, I kind of go back and forth. Today's a very Mario day for me, but I know I definitely have said Mario in the past.
It's funny. I've never, like, I've had a couple friends named Mario. But
Yeah.
I've never called them Mario. Like the cartoon plumber from Nintendo video game plumber. I messed that up.
No, you got it. He's Nintendo video game plumber. You got it. You've never called him Mario.
I called him a cartoon too.
He was. Right?
Yeah, it's true, with Captain Lou.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm tired, everybody.
We all are. It's been a week. I think I broke my toe yesterday. We're not going to get into it, but so it's been a week. Real quick before we jump into the news and hauls, though, I did have we have a small announcement. It's a teeny tiny announcement. We decided to make a tweak to our Adventures in Collecting aesthetic, and we changed up our logo a little bit and introduced a new avatar to represent the show. Thanks to friend of the pod, best friend of the pod, often contributor, Dave P from Calling All Creeps, who had a really nice long brainstorming session with me about it, and we came up with this like old school microphone head style avatar. The only problem is he does not have a name. So we need to name him, Dave.
Yeah, there were too many Daves, so we couldn't call him Dave.
Yeah, I have to shout out one person. So we did do a little bit of a dry run. We put up a story, an Instagram story today, November 19th, and we got a couple of answers at the gate. And don't worry, once I finish this spiel here, you people who already answered, you will be entered into the contest that we're about to announce. But one of our good friends from Norway, Toy Farce, suggested the other Dave as his name. And I thought that was pretty funny. We're not going to pick that one, but other Dave is, it made me chuckle. So
Wow, I didn't even know that. I just made up that joke now.
yeah, that's why I had to mention it. It was a perfect segue. So the contest is we are going to give away a Captain Marvel Diamond Marvel Select for the person who comes up with the best name for our avatar. So the way that you enter is you have to follow us on Instagram or Twitter. And we are going to put up on Twitter, we'll put up a post that you can add your answer to. You can just reply to the post with your answer. And on Instagram, we're going to put up a story and a post along with that. And you just put your guess in the comments of the post on Instagram, or
It's not a
respond to it.
guess; it's your idea.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
have
right.
any ideas, so
Yeah,
we're asking
we're
for help.
yes. Sorry, not guess. Your suggestion, your name suggestion. Um, in the comments of the post on Instagram, or respond to the story, or like I said, just reply to the tweet on Twitter. This episode will be live on Monday the 23rd. That sounds right. Monday the 23rd. And we'll put that post up, and the person who suggests the best name for our new avatar microphone guy will get a Captain Marvel action figure, a really cool Captain Marvel action figure that was provided to us by our good friends over at Diamond Select Toys. Um, so with that, let's jump straight into the news. Um,
That would have been funny though if we were like, "Yeah, guess what we named him."
Yeah, we're not that creative. We have enough ideas to basically like keep this little train a chugging at this point. But yeah, can't think of any names for this guy. And like obviously like it's on the nose, like of course like Mike, but you know, come on, we could be more creative than that. I actually said that and heard Dave yawn. That's how boring the name Mike would
Me?
be for a guy. Yeah, didn't you
Oh,
just
I
yawn?
just yawned. Yeah,
Yeah, I yeah, the microphone picked that up.
it's late.
That
I'm tired. I'm
that's
sorry.
how no, but that's how boring the name Mike would be for a guy who has a microphone as a head. We
I
could
was
do
gonna
better than
say
that.
you can pick Mike, but I don't think you'll win.
All right, so news, Dave. Why don't you kick it off with Ringside Fest?
So there was Ringside Fest. It was on geez, when was it? The 5th? Yeah, the 5th. It's just been that long since we've talked news. But at Ringside Fest, of course, we got to see a lot of new Mattel figures, basics, elites, um, masters of the WWE universe. So there was a lot of cool stuff represented there. We got to see the first series of the fan takeover. Um, vote for the gear that the wrestler is going to wear in the figure. We saw the new Royal Rumble figures. We saw the WrestleMania figures, a bunch of stuff that we had already seen. Um, we got to see Elite 82, some stuff from Elite 83, but we also got to see, and a couple other series, but there's really a couple things to point out. Um, one of which is that the WrestleMania 12 ringside exclusive Ultimate Warrior, because there hasn't been that mid 90s WWE second. Well, I guess it's technically his third run um figure, so there's never been like that figure represented since Jax really. Um but also we got to see Ultimate Edition, I believe Series 9 we're almost on at this point. Yeah, it's going to be Series 9, and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And
Finally.
yeah. And it looks like, if I could take a guess, my guess is it's going to be WrestleMania 13 Steve Austin. No, it's not. Well, maybe. If I'm
Well,
guessing, and I'm not sure.
what makes you think it's going to be WrestleMania 13? What's the giveaway there?
It's the original vest, but also one knee brace.
Ah, okay.
So he hasn't had the second knee operation yet. So I mean, it could be 14 from when he won, when he beat Shawn Michaels, but that's my guess. Or I shouldn't say it's the original vest. It's the first vest with like the Austin metal letters and the metal skull, not the one that just says Stone Cold on the back. Um, and then Ric Flair, which looks like a basically a mid to late '80s Ric Flair, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm zooming in on that belt right now to try to figure out what title that is that he comes with.
That's definitely the title right before he came to WWE. But
Well, what's cool apparently, those WCW titles actually have WCW on them.
well, that one wouldn't. That one just wouldn't have the WWE logo on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, there was
That
so much
that
at
title
Ringside Fest.
goes far back. Like the picture they show has the title has the WWE logo in it, but in theory it shouldn't be because it's the WCW title.
Gotcha. Um, Sticking with the Ultimates, we also saw a glimpse, right, of the final package shots of two other Ultimates.
Of Hollywood Hogan and the Fiend. Yes.
Yeah,
And
that Fiend is
the
so
Fiend
good.
is good. Yeah, you're getting like almost like the Bret Hart or the Shinsuke Nakamura, where you're gonna have the extra arms to represent jacket on or jacket off.
I personally, I think that the coolest part of that is the second head. I like the second head in that set with the tongue out.
Yeah. And then you've got a good Jeff Hardy Triple H 2-pack coming. The awesome Mr. T Roddy Piper WrestleMania 2 2-pack they actually have in stock at ringside.
The one figure I had a question about. I mean, this is my not naivety, but my maybe my novice knowledge of kind of vintage wrestling. What's the deal with that the Dusty Rhodes with the top hat and the like serape?
I think that was late in when he was in WWE.
Okay. I mean, it's a great looking figure.
Yeah, I think he kind of that was because he had the yellow polka dots for the most part. So I think the red polka dots were very much towards the end.
Yeah, it's a cool looking figure, and I like that they have the his like birthmark on it too.
Yeah, it's a good figure.
Um, there's a couple other prototypes that were shown for
Like we saw Edge from Elite 83, but I feel like that's not the Royal Rumble comeback Edge. That's WrestleMania and I think Backlash.
Well, you have two, right? He's the chase in that
Yeah,
so
one of them
you have
one's
like the light,
WrestleMania and the other one's Backlash for
yeah,
sure.
the light gray pants and then the dark pants.
The red pants is going to be the Ultimate, which is the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Um there was a King Corbin figure as well, I
Yeah,
believe. I'm trying to look through here. Sasha Banks,
Banks, uh,
uh Drew McIntyre,
new Drew McIntyre. So you get, smiling Drew McIntyre.
Smilin' Drew. Um you're getting that the Boneyard Undertaker
Yes.
as
Karrion
well.
Cross is another interesting one. Another Aleister Black. Um, but the Boneyard Undertaker, yeah, the last Undertaker, as far as
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah. Yeah, so and speaking of the dead man, there's a lot going on right now for 30 years of the Undertaker, right?
Yeah, Um, there's a lot of merchandise for it, but basically, Survivor Series 30 years ago was the Undertaker's debut as the Undertaker, which goes into that Decade of Domination figure. Although that was from, I think they filmed those matches right either before or right after Survivor Series, because he has the black gloves, not the gray gloves. But there was also, like, I got the Funko Pop this week, the glow in the dark Funko Pop. Um, you can get it from Amazon or WWE.com. I got it from WWE.com. But yeah, lots of Undertaker stuff because it seems like he's retiring on Sunday, or he's announcing, like, for sure his final ride, as they're calling it. So
Oh, that's so. When is Survivor Series? That's this
Sunday,
coming Sunday. Oh wow.
Sunday,
Okay. So this episode will air right after Survivor Series.
yeah,
So if you watch Survivor Series, stay up till 5 a.m. Listen to this podcast.
you can
That's
do that.
that's what you should do. I even recommend it. Um. So I mean, there was a ton at Ringside Fest. It was just kind of like I put my phone down for 10 minutes and then picked it up, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, cool. People are going to need loans to to cover all of the stuff that they announced.
And it's a lot of updates of figures or a lot of, like, new figures. Like, for example, that Alexa has the women's tag team title, um, which is great, but it's only one. So,
Yeah, got
you know,
new
they
new
put a
Sh-
new
new
Nikki Cross
Sheamus.
to go with it. Yeah, new Sheamus, which is basically old Sheamus because he's back looking the way he did, which is cool. I need a Sheamus, so I'm into it.
I kind of miss the mohawk. He doesn't have the mohawk anymore, right?
Now he's back to the spiky hair.
So moving outside of wrestling, Hasbro had an event. They had their first ever triple threat fan first Friday just a week ago. Um or at the time you're listening to this, it'll be almost 2 weeks ago. But there were some new announcements from three different IPs within Hasbro.
Oh geez,
That
I missed the Keith Lee one. The Keith Lee figure is a chase too. That's one I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I thought they had announced that already, or was
They
that
had,
announced
but I
at
think
Ringside
they
Fest?
showed pictures of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, he's awesome, and that's a great figure. It looked great when they first showed it off too.
Yeah.
Um, at the Hasbro Triple Threat event, the time was shared by the Transformers brand, Star Wars, and Marvel. For Transformers, they announced some new additions coming to the Studio Series line. So, both from the Michael Bay films, we have a new Bumblebee Transformer. That is how he appears while he is on Cybertron in the beginning of the film. And then deluxe class Autobot Dino from Dark of the Moon. Um, if you listen to the last episode, or even the episode with Justin, we talked a little bit about Transformers and these Studio Series figures. They look so cool. I like that they transform into real vehicles. Well, in the case of Dino, the Bumblebee is that, like, just futuristic looking car. In terms of the Star Wars stuff that was announced, Black Series fans rejoice. You are finally getting a Asajj Ventress figure, and she looks fantastic. Soft goods, uh, sh- amazing looking figure. As well as you're getting two people from or two clones, I should say, from the Bad Batch. So Hunter and Crosshairs are both coming to the Black Series, and those figures very quickly went up for pre-order the day that they were announced, and then subsequently sold out, which is usually the case. um, and then, of course, Marvel closed off the event, and really kind of stole the show. They showed the final shots of the next Spider-Man wave, which is due out in 2021, which includes 4 figures from the Into the Spider-Verse film.
Well,
And these
we had only seen Gwen and Miles, right?
Correct. They had only shown Gwen and Miles, and they also showed off Peter B and the Prowler. And the thing that is really, really cool about these figures, and this is kind of like I would say like an underlooked facet of this like 4D like face scan technology. People think that, for wrestlers and for like the Marvel Cinematic Universe figures, when you have a real actor and they can do this scan of their face, you get a really lifelike figure. Absolutely. Like the tech that the way that they're using the tech on even like the vintage collection 3 3/4 scale figures from there to the Marvel Legends to the Mattel wrestlers, these likenesses are getting better and better seemingly like every day. As they announce new ones, it's just incredible. The thing that's really neat though is when you have an animated film that is that has that 3D type animation, those direct files can be converted to figures. So the Into the Spider-Verse figures from Hasbro at that $20 price point are produced from the actual files used to make the film. So, Peter B. Parker has that, very skinny head that he has in the film. When you look at these figures, the finals of them, and you actually zoom in on the faces, it's almost eerie how much they look like they're peeled right off the screen. Um, so those the four of them. The build a figure Stiltman is really cool. But as I've said countless times, I pretty much stick to the movie stuff. Um, I had to make a small exception for this, even though these aren't MCU figures. They're so good, and that movie is just incredible. And I can make the excuse that it is still a movie. But Miles, technically with Gwen, you get two characters because she comes. Spider Ham is one of her accessories, which is awesome. And the Prowler and Peter B, they all look fantastic. They all went up for pre-order. They're still available at most retailers, so Amazon still has them in stock. I think they are due to ship sometime in February. I'd act quick on it because typically the way that these things work, as we get closer to that initial ship date, they tend to sell out. So if you wanted these figures, definitely act on it. The other figures that are part of that wave to complete your Stiltman is the Hand Ninja and Frogman, who's a really deep cut.
It's a deep cut. I saw that.
Um,
I was like, that's outstanding. That's a deep cut, though.
our buddies Craig and Sean, respectively, definitely. I haven't spoken to them directly yet, but I'm sure they felt a gut punch from that because they are both requesting and have been very vehemently requesting more obscure Spider-Man villains in Cardiac and the Gibbon, which are very toyetic figures, if you ask me. But here we are with Frogman.
I'd say Frogman is too.
Listen, I'm no hate on Frogman. If you are building a Spider-Man villains shelf, he will be an absolute like he's a slam dunk for like a weirdo.
And if you're
uh
building Tiltman, you need him.
Yeah, and he goes. Somebody made a good point the other day that if you had picked up White Rabbit from the Hobgoblin or the Demogoblin build a figure wave, he pairs really well with her.
Yeah,
They're able to reuse a lot of parts, so it was an easy build for them. I think the only thing that they had to do new for Frogman was the head. He's otherwise reusing the Doc Ock body. So it was an easy win to like kind of put a check mark next to a villain that they probably in all likelihood will never make again. Um
and also, and I know we talked about this when it was first announced, but kudos to the Marvel Legends team for making the army builder figure also have the you can make Stiltman taller piece
so good, right? It's so good. Like
in the Hand Ninja,
Dwight
because you need
Dan
more than one if you're getting
oh
it.
oh yeah. And like who doesn't just want like a bunch of badass ninja figures anyway? You have a superposable, really well built $20 army building ninja figure. If you are a toy photographer, that is like that is an easy layup for a figure to have, because whether you're taking pictures of Daredevil or Spider-Man or Captain America, or you even want to just have like ninjas to go up against, maybe some of your like mezco or articulated icons figures. Having another ninja is just, it's not a it's a good thing no matter what way you slice it, pun intended. But yeah, that Stiltman is wildly hilarious. It's a solid wave. Yeah,
So did you get all 4 Spider Verses?
absolutely. Yeah, those were instant pre-orders. The moment our buddy Toy Shiz put up those Amazon links, I had to immediately spring for those. Immediate. The last thing that they announced at the event was the House of X Power of 10 wave. Basically you're going to be able to recreate, and actually Dan from the Marvel Legends team challenged the articulated comic book art photographers out there to recreate the cover of the first issue of House of X. So really solid event from them. And then the final thing from them was the tease. So they teased MODOK, a new MODOK figure. They only showed the back of his head, but it is very clearly MODOK. They will not say that it is MODOK, but they showed it. They said you might want to build your AIM troopers up and your AIM scientists up, and they showed the back of MODOK's head. So people are super hyped for that figure. He hasn't been made since the Toy Biz days. So big props to the Hasbro team for once again another enthralling event with tons of reveals. So
I would have liked, even though he was in the post credit scene, I would have liked Spider-Man 2099. I would have liked a Miguel O'Hara figure.
well, if this goes, I mean, I can't imagine that these 4 figures are going to peg warm.
Or the 2-pack of him pointing at animated Spider-Man.
I mean, yeah, there are so many iconic things from that film, and there's the second one, is on the way, but like, man, and they have so many things that they can reuse and just repaint to make some of these things happen. Like a Kingpin that's dressed in black. And they already have a sweet Kingpin body. They could just kind of
Mhm.
resculpt the head. Uh, you know,
Goblin.
Goblin would be great. I mean, that would be a beefy build a figure.
Yeah.
But even the Scorpion could be a
Mhm.
build a figure. With the
I mean,
like the
Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, like
yep, there are
you have
options that,
enough for a wave 2.
for sure. Plus, you have alternate looks of the Miles that they have has the kind of built on jacket and the Jordans.
Mhm.
They could do a regular Miles, and one of the things that they did, which was really neat with the Peter B figure, is he comes with 2 head sculpts, and the one head sculpt is no mask on, and then rather than having a full masked head, it's like the mask half up. So
Yeah,
like it
so his
stops.
mouth's exposed.
Well, no, it like stops at his forehead.
Okay.
So yeah, more than half up, excuse me. But like, making a kind of like a chubby Spider-Man, and then making a Miles that just has the full outfit on. Like yeah. There are more than enough options to do a full wave 2 with an additional build a figure. So, stay tuned. We'll see what else Marvel has. Um, Dave, for a second, before I cover some of the things that happened at Tamashi Nations this year, um, why don't you tell us about another wrestling set that is exclusive to Ringside that features an iconic pair of brothers?
Oh, yeah, so we have our second, I guess technically the third ringside exclusive for AEW. Because you have the Kenny Omega that comes with the ring, and of course you had the little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho. So now we're getting the Blood Brothers 2-pack that represents the match where Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes had basically had like a kind of blood-soaked war um, live on pay-per-view, and there's a 2-pack representing that, and that's pretty interesting because it's the first time in a long time, potentially ever, for a major line where we've had like a bloody figure. And I think figures toy companies done that a couple times with Legends, but you've never had like, hey, here's basically something that's a snapshot of history with just figures that are very bloody.
Yeah.
Back in our youth, that was you get the red marker out.
Yep, the dry erase. And so that way it's not permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're doing some really interesting things with those the upcoming editions of that AEW Unrivaled. Jeremy continues to be a model of transparency. People call him the godfather of wrestling figures. I think we need to course correct that. Because Godfather has some kind of like, depending on what part of the world you're from, it has some negative connotations. I think it is much more in his spirit and his energy to say that he's the Willy Wonka of wrestling figures,
okay.
Be- because he kind of has this like unshakable level of just kind of like joy about what he does, and like you could almost see him like opening the doors to the factory and giving a lucky few a peek inside, and he tries to do that, I think, on social media, and I think he succeeds at it. um but they are just cranking through awesome figure after awesome figure. And
Yeah, they're delayed, the series 2 ones.
well, ringside is shipping some
Yeah,
people, some of
as they get them, they're
yeah.
shipped.
And the ones that people are getting, I mean, they look great.
Hmm.
They fix the skin tone. Um, the detailing on them looks fantastic. I've seen a couple of pictures up close of now the Lucha Bros. And the detailing on them looks insane. I still we talked a little bit about this off air, but I think Dustin might be a little too tall, or Cody a little too short, whichever way you
Yeah,
look at it.
the word is Dustin and Moxley are a bit too tall. I mean, okay.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world by any means. Plus, if you are using them for figure photography and everything, once you have them kind of, you start bending knees and you start actually posing them and putting them, in a ring, and, putting them into positions and things, and into holds and maneuvers, that's going to disappear. It's not like you're talking about figures that are, in completely different scales. So, I think it's just one of those things where, people are kind of looking for something to gripe about.
Yeah. I mean, the figures have been outstanding thus far. Yeah, you can kind of get in there and kind of really start to, look at the minutia of them and try to find stuff, but I mean, they've been good so far.
Yeah. So briefly, I just wanted to touch on some things that jumped out at me from the Tamashi Nations event that happened, the virtual event. Uh, while we were recording with Justin a few weeks ago, the event had kind of kicked off. Um, but just some, like I said, some things that jumped out at me. Uh, you and I, Dave, you actually got me into the film years ago, but Akira, however you choose to pronounce it, um, SH Figure Arts is putting out a new edition of Kaneda's bike, and it is just like, I'm I see it and I'm just drooling because I do have the McFarlane one, and the McFarlane one is great, especially for how old it is. It's fantastic. The one that I got aftermarket has a little bit of yellowing in the visor, but like otherwise great. It's a great figure version of the bike. But this thing, oh boy. It has like a high gloss finish on it. It looks like the wheels might be some sort of rubber. Uh the stickers are immaculately accurate to the film. I am hoping, well, shouldn't say I'm hoping, but it would be really nice if they made Akira figures to go along with the bike. Uh, that would be an instant entry for me into the SH Figure Arts world, personally, because that movie is just it's like one of my favorite films ever. Period. Uh, if not one of the more like important anime pieces that exists. But um, I don't know if you got a chance to look at this picture yet of the bike, Dave, but
It looks awesome, like which you would expect from figure arts.
yeah, for sure. The other thing too that I just wanted to point out real quick, just because it's one of those things that I feel like a lot of us, maybe not so much you. I think you were a little bit ahead of it or behind it, ahead of it in the US, but Dragon Ball Z was a huge part of a lot of you know my demographics after school programming. Um and they announced a bunch of new figures in the SH Figure Arts line for Dragon Ball Z, including like a Goku chowing down, which is hilarious. Because that dude's always eating. I mean, when you work out as much as Goku, you gotta keep the calories going. There's a new Vegeta coming, a first form Frieza, the rest of the Ginyu Force, the new anime color accurate Piccolo. Um, there's a new Tien and Chaozu that are coming. It's just they really kind of just announced a ton of stuff. Um, Justin had talked about Gundam Universe, the Gundam action figures on the last 2 episodes ago. There's a wave 5 of them that are coming out. So they Tamashi Nations really just kind of uh they really kind of announced a plethora of stuff. Um, in fact, it was even more difficult to keep up with than the ringside stuff. To be to be perfectly honest, only because there was just so much, and Bluefin, they have a ton of brands and a ton of not only a ton of brands, but like each brand has a ton of IPs under it. So once they start announcing stuff, it's just kind of like this deluge of highly articulated, very well crafted, extremely well painted, very detailed stuff. So I highly recommend just checking out the Bluefin Brands account on Instagram, or even Instamashi is Tamashi Nation's Instagram account, for all the pictures and all the announcements and tons of giveaways, and just it's wild. There's always cool shit going on over there. So definitely check that out. And then to close up news, Dave, I had one last thing. I don't know if you have anything else.
Um, Not really. There were a bunch of Funko sodas announced. Snake Plissken is one. Um, there's Leatherface. There's a couple other ones in there. But that's really it.
Well, the last thing I had was just from this most recent Mando Monday. Um, so they announced coming to the Black Series a Moff Gideon figure, a Queel figure, and a Grief Karga figure. So the kind of the three characters in the Black Series from the Mandalorian, which if you are not watching it this season, please catch up and start watching it. It's incredible. Some of the best television that is out there. But three of the very important characters from season 1 and potentially season 2, depending on how things shake out here. Grief Karga, Moff Gideon, and Queel are all coming to the Black Series as part of the Mandalorian line. So yeah. Um.
I will say this: I would get the Sasha Banks Black Series if it comes out.
Oh, well, Dave, that is talk about walking backwards into a perfect segue. Why don't you tell us about your first two Black Series purchases?
Yeah. Either I got two either much beloved or much maligned, depending on who you talk to. I think they're hilarious and amazing. Um,
I'm in that camp too, for what it's worth.
yeah. I got the two of the and I forget which two because I forget which came from which store. Um, I got two of the holiday troopers, I guess. Um, I mean, they come with Borg and they're like holiday porgs with scarves, and one looks like he's like a snow porg. So
I think
um
if I'm not mistaken, I think you have a clone trooper and you have a regular stormtrooper, like an original trilogy stormtrooper.
okay. Yeah, I mean I'm not sure which again, but I have 2/3 of the holiday porgs, so there's one left. And I'm considering considering one of the other ones too.
I think they're brilliant. Um, I think they're a ton of fun, and especially considering that, like, for the longest time, uh, Lucasfilm and the people in charge of kind of like the branding and the merchandise were very protective about things coming out that had to be um, both like relevant or canon or some aspect of that connected to the source material. That they are just kind of going out on a limb and having a blast with this is amazing. I love it. So full support. Whether you love it or hate it is fine. Um, you know, but I guess, it's one of those things where if you don't love it, cool, you don't have to buy it. But if you love
Yeah,
it, awesome. You
that's
got some more figures, right?
yeah, that said I would get if they ever did the Sasha Banks character. I don't know the name of the character because it wasn't mentioned in the episode. Uh,
They definitely said it, not in the episode, like it's known, but I have not committed it to memory yet either. So don't feel bad.
just to kind of be like a alternate wrestling kind of figure.
Well, if you open up that can of worms, are you going to try to get Super Shredder too?
No, no.
quick no, shut down.
I mean, the
Um
figures are cool because you get to build a figure Batista, but
all right, so let's do a little back and forth here. So you got your holiday troopers. I scored some really fun stuff at GameStop, which is not a store I typically shop at for figures because they frankly put they're overpriced. And I understand everybody's got to make a living, but I'd rather wait and get them at regular price than GameStop markup price. However, GameStop does have some really good sales sometimes. And I did pick up the McFarlane DC Multiverse Bat Raptor, which I know you also picked up,
I did.
for $5. Yes, for $5. And we were fortunate enough, both of us were fortunate enough that local GameStops had them in stock, so we didn't have to pay shipping.
I
So,
got mine shipped.
oh, you did?
Yeah, I paid shipping because I ordered um
Oh, well,
a
did you get
the
enough stuff to get free shipping or?
no, I just ordered another figure. I
Alright.
ordered the Retrofest Shawn Michaels, but it has not shipped yet.
So, I did in-store pickup for both the Bat Raptor and I got the, like, frozen icy version of Sub-Zero, which I got the Bat Raptor because I was like, "What the hell? It's $5. I have enough of the McFarlane figures. It'll be cool for toy photography for $5." But
I literally did the same thing. I was like, it's $5. Like,
and it's really cool. Like, I don't know if you've opened yours yet, but it is way cooler than I expected it to be. It has like real rubber wheels. It feels heavy. It feels chunky. I mean, it's the type of quality you'd expect from a McFarlane figure, but they typically don't do vehicles, so it was cool. Um, but what I was really excited about, and I'm actually holding it right now. I haven't put him in the display yet because I keep playing with him, but I really like the frozen Sub-Zero. Like they just did such a nice job of like the paint on him and the type of plastic they used and the translucency of it. Really cool figure. And I had been keeping my eye on that one for a while, and I was happy to pick it up for $5. But the cool thing is, when I went in to pick them up, um, I couldn't believe my eyes. They had the Vision and Scarlet Witch 2-pack from Infinity War on the shelf.
huh,
Um for $40. So not even marked up a penny. If I recall, when that was a Toys R Us exclusive back in the day, it was $50. So with the um with the Disney Plus shows coming, very soon. WandaVision is coming out in January, and Falcon Winter Soldier to follow that. Uh, the formerly Toys R Us exclusives of both of those 2-packs, the Wanda and Vision and the Falcon Winter Soldier 2-packs, that were once Toys R Us exclusives from Infinity War, are hitting GameStops and Best Buys respectively, and they're hitting for retail. Now, it was not too long ago that we were at a toy show and I paid substantially more than $40 for the Falcon and Winter Soldier 2-pack, which is fantastic. But the fact that I was able to get the Vision and Scarlet Witch one for $40 when that was literally going for like $120 plus just a few weeks ago, um, blew my mind. I saw it and I it was the only one left, and obviously I walked out with it, and I immediately posted my Civil War um Scarlet Witch and my Civil War like sort of translucent Vision, put them up on Mercari for like, $20 each. Um because they're identical except for, very, very minor things, and I don't need it's really, I bought it really for the Scarlet Witch because the head sculpt on the fixed one is just the newer one. It's unbelievable. It's just, it's one of the best looking Marvel Legends figures. Period. Fight me. Um, so I was happy to add that to my collection. So I got those from GameStop. Did you pick up anything else, Dave?
Just in general or from that GameStop sale?
Just in general.
I finally got, which um I think is an early entry or a potential entry into if we get into top tens.
Oh, we're totally doing that at the end of the year. We have
I
to.
I got that Teen Titans Cyborg.
You're talking top 10 of the year with all of the WWE elites that you
I
have
think
gotten this year.
that's I mean, it's my favorite McFarlane so far. So
No shit, really?
yeah, I just think it's a really cool looking figure.
Wow.
Um,
I know you passed on him a couple times.
yeah, that was one of those ones where, and it was basically because it was like, I love this figure, but do I need this figure? Um, you know, and I kind of was like, well, all right, Teen Titans Go. Like if I'm gonna say it's the cartoon or it's the televised thing.
And it definitely is. It's
Yeah.
definitely the cartoon. It's definitely, it's
Oh, it's
definitely based.
100% based off of the Teen Titans cartoon.
Yeah,
Um, and so that was kind of like my, all right, well, it's film and TV. So
fair. I actually have not seen it in person yet.
it's really cool. And once you kind of look at the, like there's the plastic where it's see through on him.
Yeah, I heard the
Like there's a
detailing
lot
on
of
it is really
the
nice.
the detail of it is different from really any of the other figures in the line, in the sense of there really isn't anything like that.
Hmm.
Like there's just, everybody's got a costume, or everybody's got a um has their batarang or their really long gun or whatever the case may be. But I've not really seen anything kind of be multi-dimensional in that regard, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like you even look at like Hellbat or any of those, and they're, big mech looking things, but it doesn't have that kind of see-through
yeah.
translucent
I'm looking
piece.
at the other DC multiverse figures I have, and I feel like the only figure I have from McFarlane that uses kind of like translucent plastic, and other than the Sub Zero, is maybe some of the My Hero Academia stuff has some translucency to it.
And I think it was just a really kind of creative way to put an animated, character into a real life physical form.
Yeah,
But I just think it's a really cool looking figure. Um, yeah, it just kind of jumped out at me. It was like, I need to get this one.
yeah. I'll be curious to see what my
and it may wind up not making the list, or it may wind up making the list, but it's so far, short of maybe regular Wonder Woman 84 Wonder Woman. It's probably my favorite McFarlane that I've bought.
Yeah, we have to start thinking about our top 10 for the year because there has been a lot.
hmm
um
I got two other ones that I met that are probably going to be on the list, and other things that I got.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I only have one more thing, so why don't you do one more, and then I'll do mine, and then you could do your last one.
Well, I already talked about the Undertaker Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Um, oh, my Kevin from The Office came today too. That was neat. Um, but another, potential candidate for favorite figure of the year came. And you can watch it on our YouTube channel. The unboxing of it, the Ultimate Edition, Amazon exclusive, The Rock.
Nice. Yeah, that figure. I enjoyed watching that video. Yeah, that was those ultimate figures are so cool.
They're really good.
They're so good. Um, it's funny you say that though. The one last thing that I had to talk about is also a figure of the year candidate. Um, the fan channel exclusive Marvel Legends. Yes, I bought a Marvel Legends figure that's not a movie figure, Dave. Doctor Doom.
Okay.
And he's on that Toy Biz retro Fantastic Four card.
hmm
And he is just one of those. So he's one of those iconic villains. He appeared enough in the Spider-Man cartoon, the '90s animated series, to go on my very, very small, now filled, now complete animated shelf. So I kind of like secretly set up this sub series of figures in my head where I was like, you know what? There were figures I had when I was a kid, Toy Biz figures, um, that I absolutely loved. And then I kind of mashed that together with there were animated Spider-Man villains that I absolutely loved that I don't think are ever going to get, not that they probably won't be in a movie, but they're not going to get like that kind of treatment in a movie where they just kind of have that like pop of color and they kind of exude that like 90s goodness. So I built myself a little 90s Spider-Man animated shelf. Um thereabouts. So like I have like the monster Venom on there. It's not the Venom from the cartoon, I know, but like it is a very cartoony, awesome, hulking looking Venom. Um but I wanted a Doctor Doom for that shelf because he is in his bright green borderline medieval silver armor. Like he is one of the coolest villains period in comic books.
Yeah.
And this figure, Dave, is it's one of those figures where when you take it out of the package, you're like, I cannot believe that this is a $20 figure. The amount of accessories he comes with, the detailing on him, the articulation, the kind of just feel of him, like he feels expensive. And I feel like that's super appropriate for Doctor Doom. But like, um, he comes with two different books, like spell books
Oh,
that
that's cool.
he can hold. He comes with the amulet. He comes with like the green energy. He comes with rocket propulsors for his boots. Um he comes with a like a sidearm, but I always screw up the name. I always forget whether it's Luger or Ruger. One's I feel like one's a wrestler, one's a gun. But like he comes with like that like World War II style, Axis, bad guy gun, which is amazing. And like it's got a nice little like pseudo leather looking holster that it fits in, and he's got the right hands and he's got some soft goods on him. It is a wonderful, it's a perfect Doctor Doom. Like they will not make a Doctor Doom animated cartoon comic that looks better than this one, period. Like they have checked that box, walk away from it. They will never make one as good as this. Um so it's definitely a figure of the year candidate for me. But that's the last thing I had to talk about in terms of hauls.
My last one is definitely another candidate. It's the Super 7 Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that.
That figure's awesome. Um, Very difficult to film the unboxing as it's big, but
I like that you
yeah,
managed to get pictures of him with the hammer, though. I thought that was
yeah.
good.
I wanted to pick somebody era appropriate, so Greg the Hammer was the first person I found. Um, but yeah, that I mean, I've purchased a lot since last time we've done one of these, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm just picking highlights. There's other stuff that I could definitely talk about, but
I also don't remember what I got between last time and this time. So
actually, shit, no. There's one other thing I have to mention that I picked up because we have been hyping them, and I know you picked up some too. I don't know if you got them in the mail yet, but I finally found the Cowboy Bebop Best Action figures from Loyal Subjects.
I have
Oh,
not received mine yet.
okay.
I ordered the Demon and Slash from Hot Topic.
Yeah, you're going to be pleased as punch when you get them. They are super fun. They feel like awesome like 90s action figures. They're like throwbacky but super articulated at the same time. I love the Cowboy Bebop ones. You can watch speaking of reviews on our YouTube, along with the review of The Rock and the review of Andre the Giant, you can watch a review of the Cowboy Bebop figures and the premiere of my daughter entering the the Adventures in Collecting team as she helped me put together the Spin Master Batcave. You can watch that all on our YouTube. They're super fun videos. Definitely check them out.
Yeah, and I've still not seen Lightning anywhere.
Lightning. Oh yeah. No, I haven't seen them yet either. So my Walmart only the anime wave has hit. So I've seen the two Naruto figures, the two Cowboy Bebop figures, and the two Full Metal Alchemist figures, and they've actually sold out and restocked.
And it's funny, Hot Topic has had all of them except for Lightning. They
Weird.
also have Angus Young. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dave.
And I think Gandalf is there too, right?
Yes. Gandalf always arrives exactly when he intends to, because he's a wizard. Um, with that, Dave, I would like to talk about our you know what? I think it's safe to say the world's favorite plumber, the world's
I was gonna
favorite
say
fictional plumber.
I don't have a guess that toy in me tonight.
No. So I just want to take a minute here. You know, not a super long time because everybody knows who Mario is, and you know everyone has their fond memories of Mario and Nintendo and kind of like the whether you got in at the ground floor with the NES at home, when it came out 35 years ago, or yeah, or whether honestly, like my first memory of Mario was the Super Nintendo Mario game and Super Mario All Stars.
Actually, I'll go before that. Mario Brothers in the arcade.
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah, the arcade game. But he has just become uh, a pop cultural icon, right? I mean, he's next year, in 2021, when we do have the Olympics in Japan, which they're still trying to figure out how they're going to do. I know he is like the mascot of the Olympics, which makes complete sense because he's fucking Mario. Um, it's he has just kind of risen above video games, right? So there have been tons of Mario toys over the years. Jack's Toys, they make this wildly successful, very eccentric line of Mario toys. Um, Lego just this year to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Mario has announced and they're out. You can buy them now, including like there's more coming from them.
Yeah, if anything, didn't they just announce more stuff?
Yeah, I
More
just
expansions?
I just got the holiday guide from Lego actually in the
Yeah.
mail, and there's more in there. But like amazing Nintendo Mario Lego products. They have the NES that you can build, right? The creator
Mhm.
NES, and it works with the Mario when you put them on there.
Yeah.
Um yeah, but I just figured, let's take a minute to share some favorite memories of the world's most favorite plumber. So
Well,
Dave,
that and I think isn't the theme park coming to Japan too? To
yeah,
Universal next year?
it's funny you mentioned that. I got caught in one of those YouTube black holes, right? Where I was watching something probably about Disney parks, and I think it queued me up a video on like um in Universal in Japan, in
Super
Tokyo.
Nintendo.
Yeah, they well, Super Nintendo World's not open yet. You could see like aerial views of it, and it looks wild. Because it's that typical, just like anything else that those theme parks do. It's always like incredible the amount of detail and like the level of immersion that they create. But one of like the cafes in Universal Studios in Japan is now serving like the Super Nintendo World food.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, and they're really funny. So like one of the drinks that you can have, the straw has like a mustache on it. So when you're drinking out of the straw, it makes it look like you have a mustache, like a
Well,
Mario
that's fun.
mustache.
That's fun.
But yeah, between the theme park, the well, you know what? Let's start with some of the let's just cover some of the things that they're doing right now. So we talked about Lego, we talked about Jax. Um, why don't you talk a little bit about the Game and Watch that's coming out?
Um,
That's just come out.
yeah, it's out. Nintendo put out a little Game and Watch, reminiscent of the Game and Watches from my youth in the 80s. Except this one is full color screen. Looks to be the correct dimensions. But it plays Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brother, the original Super Mario Brothers 2, which was released here as the Lost Levels. And of course the Game and Watch Classic Ball.
Yes. And it's that cool like copper maroon, like the actual like
It's like red and gold.
yeah, yep. Um it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's definitely a neat looking way to play, another way to play Mario Brothers.
So Dave, if you had to sum up what Mario, like your earliest memory of Mario, like the thing to you, like if you close your eyes for like just a second and you're like, all right, what's the one Mario thing that like really kind of resonates with me? What would that thing be?
I mean, in general,
Yeah, in general.
because like playing Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, like the original game was cool. But probably Mario 3, and that's probably going to be a lot of people's too. Because the first time you saw it was in the movie The Wizard, and
That's
then
right.
all of a sudden there was the game, and it was like, oh, I can get this too. But that was, it wasn't leaked through like social media. It was your first taste of it was in a movie.
The Wizard, a 2-hour commercial for Super Mario
Super
Brothers
Mario
3.
Brothers 3.
Was that it was Fred Savage, right? Yeah. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I haven't probably watched it in at least 20 years, but
I would be curious to see how it holds up all these years later. It's probably still fun.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I was gonna say it's probably not good.
So, speaking of movies, the honestly, the first thing that I think of, and you're gonna say that I'm crazy, but the first thing that I think of when I think of Mario is I think of my godmother, your aunt, uh, taking me to go see the John
That was us.
Leguizamo.
We had that.
Yeah, her taking me to go see that and falling asleep during that movie, and that
She
movie.
did or you did, because
No,
either way, I believe it.
she did. But you gotta remember that movie came out at a time when like I was you know what? I was the perfect age for that movie. Because for me, it was like super cool that they were making a Mario movie. One. Two, it had for me, like again, as a kid at the time, it was like, oh cool, the guy from Roger Rabbit's in this. And three, it was just like this weird like sci-fi fever dream that made no sense that you watch now as an adult and you're like how did they make like how did this get made, not to quote another podcast, but how did this get made? But like for me at the time, I did not hate that movie when that came
Two
out.
episodes where we've talked about, well, I guess 2 out of 3 where we've talked about how did this get made.
Yeah, but
They ever do Mario Bros?
I don't know, they if they
And
haven't,
if
that's
not, why? Why
yeah,
haven't they?
If they haven't done that one, we gotta. Well, we can't tweet at Manzukis because he doesn't have Twitter. We gotta tweet at Paul. But yeah, that movie for whatever reason, like as awesome as the games are, and I'm a huge Nintendo fan. Like day one for every Nintendo system that I have been, you know, able to purchase on my own. You know, starting at the GameCube, or actually, I got the Nintendo 64 pretty quickly too, but that wasn't me purchasing it. GameCube was the first one that I bought. But like I love the games. Super Mario Galaxy is like one of my favorite video games ever. The Super Mario Super Nintendo game is again like up there, but that movie will always hold a weird special place in my heart. I love that shitty movie.
And that was Super Nintendo era too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean I know like looking back on it as an adult that and
It's not good.
I even had figures from that movie. Like I had the figures
Yeah.
with like the big ass boots and everything. Um I wish I still had those figures now. Who the hell knows where they ended up. But yeah, I had Mario, I had Luigi. I'm pretty sure I had Toad, or one of the Koopas. I don't know how he was labeled. But yeah, again, looking back on that now as an adult, I can totally understand why people were like soul crushingly disappointed. Like I'm sure people like your age at the time were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Just wanted like question mark blocks and
Why is this not the
Mario
game?
jumping on stuff.
Like it's like why is Bowser Dennis Hopper? Like
I didn't mind that it was Dennis Hopper. Why is Bowser not like a T-Rex until the last 30 seconds?
oh man. Yeah, it's just that movie is I completely understand it's a hot mess, but I would be lying to you if I said like I don't watch that movie two to three times a year. Like I'm serious, like
Another one I haven't watched in at least a decade. Like,
nope, 2 to 3 times a year. I'm like, you know what I'm in the mood for today? Fucking Super Mario Brothers. I swear to you, I'll throw it on and it will it's like the perfect movie because it doesn't derail my day. Like if I'm working and I want something on in the background, I'm like Super Mario perfect choice because I don't have to like fully pay attention to it. There are parts of it where I'll like look up and like, chuckle and go like, "Oh man, it's real bad." And then like smile like I'm grinning ear to ear just thinking about the joy that awful awful movie brings to me. And like out of all the things that Mario has been a part of for 35 years, the first thing that I think of is that movie. And I know it's crazy, but fight me. I love that movie. Have I rendered you speechless? Did you not know how much I enjoyed this movie? Is this news to
no,
you?
I know you did. It's yeah. I mean, I just it is what it is. Like
It,
I'm not.
it's a good thing we don't have Heather's boyfriend on here because he would be like, he would literally be down my throat at this point. He would be so angry. He's gonna be so angry when he hears this. He's like, "How'd you not talk about Smash Brothers? Went right
I
to
mean,
the
it's
movie."
not good. It's not good, that movie.
I know, it's not good, but I love it.
And I
Um,
haven't. Full disclosure, I haven't played a Mario game since Super Mario World.
no, you definitely played.
No, I never had a 64. I had a PlayStation.
That's right. But I feel like all those years that I had like the Wii and the GameCube sitting around, you never played any of those. Like you didn't play Galaxy or,
No,
huh? Well,
I
I
played
mean,
like Smash Brothers.
dude, I like you're missing out. I know you have access to a Switch occasionally. You need that like that greatest hits game that they just put out. The like
Yeah,
new All-Stars or whatever they're calling it.
3D All Stars.
3D All-Stars. Yeah, you need to get into that. Sunshine wasn't great.
Yeah, it's like Legend of Zelda. I haven't played a Legend of Zelda game since Zelda 2.
Oh boy. Well, that's a whole other conversation to
I
have.
have the one on the Super Nintendo Mini. Which one is
Um,
that? Link to the Past?
yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask, Mario was in another form of media, when you were a kid. Was a little bit before my time, but he had a cartoon too with Captain Lou.
I think you were around for that.
I feel like I was around for the second iteration of it, not the not
I
the
don't
the
know about
first one.
that.
Yeah, gotta remember. I mean, I guess yeah. If Mario's 35 years old, I'm only 32, so I don't know. Unless that came out in like the first like 2 years of his existence, but
No, that was later, I feel. The Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Now I
I
gotta look that up.
well, while you're looking that up, I had a question for you. You outside of the video games and the cartoon and the movie,
Oh no,
and
that was yeah, you wouldn't have seen that. That was 89.
yeah, I
You saw it later,
yeah,
probably.
I know. I definitely remember watching it. I don't think I was around for its onset, but you had other Mario collectibles outside of toys and video games. You used to collect the cards.
Oh yeah, the scratch off cards.
Yep.
I think I had a full set of those somewhere. Unscratched. I don't know if
I think you still do have a full set of them unscratched,
probably.
to be perfectly honest. But what do you remember about those cards? Because it's a pretty odd collectible for a video game.
So if they tried to, make them a game, it was a scratch off.
They were like gold coins and boxes and stuff they had to scratch, right?
No, it was like little circles on the card.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't just Mario either. It was Mario, it was like Punch Out. There's probably Zelda in there. Different games. I don't know if there was like Metroid, but it was all like basically Nintendo trading cards. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
But I remember seeing those cards, and I always knew, like as a kid, not to go near your cards and dad's cards unless like you were actively playing with me with them, because like we had games that we played with the cards sometimes. But I remember always kind of being fascinated by the Mario cards because it was like, like you said, there was a game element to it, but it was weird that they were cards and not not a video game.
Looking back on them, I am too. Just looking at these, like they had stickers with game tips on the back. Like these are these are these are strange.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where again, like
There was Double Dragon ones in
wow,
it.
shout out to Zombie Sailor Toys, Double Dragon.
Yeah.
Um, the the thing that's really interesting, I think, about Mario, and that's unique to him over really any other character, is he has achieved this transcendence, right? Where it's like people who have never ever played a Mario game know who Mario is. Like there's no, it's like one of those things where like, you know, when like Jimmy Kimmel does those like questions on the street where he holds up like a picture of Ronald McDonald, a picture of Mario, and a picture of like the current president of the United States at any given time. And like, you know, maybe not now with Ronald McDonald because he's kind of been retired for a while, but like people will all know who Mario is. He's on clothing, he has toys, he's had trading cards, he's been in cartoons, he's been in movies. Um, he's even referenced in Disney movies. He's referenced in Wreck-It Ralph. A movie about video games, but kind of a different twist. But he he is he is like the ultimate pop culture icon at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure too, like I'm sure there were even like Mario songs at one point. Like I would not be surprised if there was you know, like a vinyl back in like the 80s. Like I feel like I remember the intro song with Captain Lou Albano as
Do the
Mario.
Mario,
Yeah,
yeah.
do the Mario, right. Um, and it's like with every iteration of Nintendo console, they find a way to continue his his legacy. So like with the Nintendo Switch, they had Super Mario Odyssey was a game that came out very shortly after the console launched, and it was beautiful, and the gameplay was innovative, and that's the other thing that goes with him. Mario was part of the home gaming revolution, debuting with the NES. And then the Super Nintendo, he ushered in that 16-bit era. And then when the Nintendo 64 came out, that 3D gaming and, kind of that over-the-shoulder type of gameplay, nobody had ever been able to do it that good before. And the Nintendo 64 crushed it. And then even, moving on to like the Switch, using the Wii remote to, or excuse me, the Wii, using the Wii remote to innovate gameplay again. And it's just kind of, he's always been there. And then, you can't forget about Super Smash Brothers. So the game that has kind of changed competitive gaming and fight games by, making Mario effectively like a fighter. He is just, he's everywhere. He's everywhere, and he's never been annoying. Like, it's not one of those characters where you're like sick of seeing him ever. He's just kind of this endearing little dude with a mustache that has been quite literally kicking ass and taking names for 35 years. So, do you have any other parting words for Mario?
No. Happy birthday, Mario.
Yeah. So with that, a happy birthday, Mario, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azzari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.